Hello! Welcome to my channel, Duckpotatoe's World. My name is Katie, and this is Created to Create, my monthly vlog about my crafting, mostly my knitting and my crochet. If you are a new viewer, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Either way, thank you for choosing to spend some of your time with me today. I have a lot of fun things to be showing, but the most important thing I want to talk about is June is my YouTube channel's anniversary month. So my first episode of Created to Create, I put out in June of 2022. So this month, my channel is turning 2 years old. Yay! So I do have a actual birthday video planned, and that will be coming out around June 21st. But just so that you guys know, I have been around for 2 whole years. I'm very proud of myself. I am not the most stick-to-itiveness person. I get bored with things, and I tend to change up what I do frequently. On that note, you may have noticed that my intro and my outro have been updated for a year or two. But a lot of times I start stuff and I do it for a while and I get bored or I get distracted by something else and I move on. So it's a pretty big milestone for me that I have managed to stick with my YouTube channel for 2 whole years. And I'm very proud of myself. As you can see today, you just have me. Unfortunately, Mandy is in Austin. She could not make it up to Lindale to do the filming this month, but hopefully we'll get her back on here soon. I also have a friend who has volunteered to help me host. I just need to plan ahead enough for her to know to come when I'm ready. Obviously, we are in a different space. I have all of my kids home for, well, I homeschool, so we're always all home, but I'm trying to do some filming while my kids are in the house, so I thought we would try coming outside. It's actually a beautiful day. I don't know if you can hear the birds and the frogs and the crickets and whatever else makes noise out of doors. I'm not generally the most outdoorsy of persons. It isn't really that hot. It's a very sunny day, but it is really humid here in East Texas. So if I'm a little glistening, I am sorry, that is why. But really it's not uncomfortable. So I thought we would try it. It is just, it's nice to be out in the fresh air, and this way my kids can make all the noise they want in the house and not have to be quiet. And they always want to make noise. I don't know what's up with that. The older that they get, I thought they would get quieter, but they don't exactly get quieter. They just get loud in a different way. But anyway, we're going to try an episode out here on my back porch today. And I have all kinds of things to show you, so let's get busy. Oh, what I am wearing. Some of you may recognize this from last month, but I did finish my ranunculus by Midori. Gotta look at my notes. Hyros. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But, okay, so I decided to knit this because 25,000 people have projects on Ravelry, and I thought, you know, fear of missing out. I had some serious FOMO. If 25,000 people are knitting this, there must be a reason. And I am here to tell you there is a reason. I love this top, and I enjoyed knitting it. My very favorite thing about it was that every size starts the same in the yoke, the same stitch count and everything. So I just picked up needles that I thought would work, picked up yarn that I thought would work, knit the yoke and blocked it, and then figured out what size I wanted to knit from there. And you guys, it fits perfect. Now I used every last inch of the yarn. This is, let's see, Sestari Monticello Collection Fingering in the colorway Imperial Lily. This is a discontinued yarn, so it's not something that I could go find more of, and I had 2 hanks of it, and I used it all. It is a 75% cotton, 25% linen and flax, and I am very, very happy with it. I will put a picture of me standing up wearing it up here so you can see it, but yeah, it is fabulous. It fits well, it feels good, it's not hot. I may actually knit another ranunculus at some point in the future. I knit things multiple times sometimes, like if I make something for someone and I need to make a matching one for someone else, or if that's usually why I knit something more than once. I'm usually knitting one for me and one for my husband and one for my kid and one for my friend or whatever. But rarely do I just want to knit another one of the same exact thing for me. And this is something that I would enjoy knitting another version of, maybe the long sleeve version of, in a wool for winter wear, so that I have a summer and a winter version. it's a great pattern. It's easy to follow. It knit up fast. I think I finished it in 2 weeks. I've never finished a top that fast in my life. It's not complicated, even with the edits that I have to make, because I don't usually knit raglans with the same stitch count in the front and the back, even though that's the way most raglan sweaters I have encountered are designed. I usually offset the shoulders so that the back stitch count is a little bit smaller than the front for obvious reasons. Excuse me, we are outside, so there's flies and mosquitoes and whatever other things that buzz. Anyway, even with me making that edit, I didn't have any trouble with it. I'm really, really pleased. And this is my very favorite color of orange. So when I say orange is my favorite color, I like all kinds of orange. I like the burnt orange of a sunset. I like the neon orange of a traffic cone. But this sort of salmon-y, peachy orange is my very, very favorite color of orange. So yeah, I have already been wearing this top more than I think I've worn anything else except for maybe the cardigans I use in the winter in lieu of a jacket. In terms of just regular tops that I've knit, this has by far been my favorite. I wore it 3 times the first week after it was done, and I've worn it at least once every week since then. I am very, very pleased with this one. So this is wearing and my first finish object, but I did finish a couple of other things. So the first thing I did was a test crochet. And I really find it funny that I can barely hold a hook and yet I'm testing crochet, but it's a very, very simple pattern. This is the Books and Hooks pattern by Kathleen Fuller. And it is just a cute little crocheted book bag. And no, I did not have an easy time with it because I don't know. Apparently I have a mental block. It is not a difficult crochet pattern. Not at all. But I still am struggling with getting my beginning of rounds to line up. So this one, I fudged it, which from what I hear from other crocheters, is kind of like what crocheters do. They just fudge it. But when I fudged it, I got it to come out right. My handles are in the right place. And this yarn striped so beautifully, which was just serendipitous because I did not know it was going to do that. But this is the Books and Hooks crochet bag by Kathleen Fuller. I don't know when or where this pattern is going to come out. I would assume it would be on her website, kathleenfuller.com. When I find out for sure, I will either add it in when I'm editing or I'll put it in the description box down below because you are going to want to knit this bag. It is the perfect size to carry whatever you are currently reading. I am currently reading Rhythms of Grace, How the Church's Worship Tells the Story of the Gospel by Mike Cosper. Highly recommend this book if you are involved in church music in any way, shape, or form. I am learning so much and really enjoying the read. In fact, I'm almost done with it. This summer, I am trying to alternate between like a constructive, informational type book, educational book, and a fun book. So when I finish this one, I'll be switching to a fun book. So I did recently finish Kathleen Fuller's latest book that just came out. It's called, The Courtship Plan is the one that's coming to mind, but I'm not sure that that's the right, I think that's the book before. The Engagement Plot? Yeah, I think it's The Engagement Plot. I will clearly, actually, I'll look it up. Y'all, I can't believe I can't remember the name of this book. I literally just started listening to the Courtship Plan over again. I've already read it once, but it was available in an audiobook, so I started listening to it. And now that's the only one I can think of is the Courtship Plan, but that is the one before. That is not the new one. So let me go look what the new one is called. The Proposal Plot. Okay, the proposal, not engagement. I just finished the Proposal Plot. Sorry, that was a lot of squirreling to get to that. So then I started Rhythms of Grace, and whenever I start another hard book, it will be a lighter read, something more for fun. But I am enjoying that. The books fit perfectly in my little bag that I crocheted. I'm very proud of. Oh, I didn't tell you the yarn. The yarn is a discontinued Plymouth yarn called Kudo. And it is like a silk and cotton and viscose blend. It makes a great crocheted bag. I used, 60 or 70 grams of it. And I don't remember what size hook I used. Whatever size the pattern recommended. It was an Aran weight yarn, so I used a bigger hook. But yeah, and I got to use my new hooks, which I love. So that was cool too. But that is my first finished object. And then I have also made not one, but 2 Happy and You Know It hats. So my dad, who is always a really big fan of mine, he saw my blue Happy and You Know It hat that I knit and designed and decided that he and his wife needed a Christmas set. So the green is for Tracie, my stepmom. She is going to be, I guess, like Santa's elf, and it has the little tassel and everything and all the beads. I had no trouble at all with Tracie's hat. Tracie's hat was easy breezy to knit. The pattern is of my own design. It's not a difficult pattern. It is a lengthy pattern because you're using a whole 100 grams of a sport weight yarn. Now my dad's hat, however, I had a little more trouble with. So this yarn is Elizabeth Lavaud Silky Wool. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly either. Elizabeth Lavaud Silky Wool, which is a wool and silk and nylon blend. I did the green one first, washed it and blocked it. It did not bleed at all. So I thought, oh good, if that rich green doesn't have any color shed, I bet the red will be fine too. Yeah, famous last words. The red bled all into the white band. It made it, I mean, it was pink. It wasn't even a very pretty pink. So I did surgery. You begin this hat, you knit it wrong side out, and you begin it from the cuff, and you knit it wrong side out, so you're doing the knitting, and then when you're done and turn it right side out, the beads will be on the outside and the pearl bumps on the outside. So anyway, what I did was I cut out the white brim and just knit a new white brim with some leftover white yarn, and then told my dad that I'm not washing it and I recommend he never wash it because it'll probably bleed some more if it gets washed again. I don't normally wash hats, hardly ever, except the very first time to block them. I rarely need to wash them again, and so I just told him, you know, if you decide you need to wash it, do so with care because it did bleed. But other than that, I didn't have any trouble with this hat either. Just a little mishap with the color running, which is almost always a risk with red yarn. I don't use red yarn very often for that reason. I'm always afraid it will run. Not afraid enough to pre-soak the yarn, which would have been smart and prevented the problem, but I didn't think to do that. Maybe next time I use red yarn, I'll try to remember to maybe leave it in the hank before I wind it into a cake and just soak it and see if it bleeds. That would be really smart. We'll see if I take my own advice and do that next time I use red yarn. But yeah, those 3 things are the only finished objects that I have, but I have several WIPs to share. So I want to update you on my Summer Fade Hexie Blanket by Mallory Crawl. Yeah, by Mallory Crawl. I have finished a 3rd ring since you saw it last month. And I have most of my ends woven in. I still have maybe 6 or 7 hexies that the ends need to be woven in. But yeah, I did acquire a new color. That's this yellow. I bought another ball of yarn to add to my scraps because I was just concerned that I wouldn't have enough. I also have incorporated some of the scraps from my mother's blanket of knowledge. So this is from the 2022 turquoise colorway here. In addition to, and this is from Enchanted this year. So this is also from Cabin in the Woods this year. This is from the 2022 blue colorway, I believe. So it's mostly the shell-shocked orange colorway from 2022, leftovers from that, a few leftovers from Enchanted this year, a few leftovers from Cabin in the Woods this year. But just, it's a great, if you have, I use about, I don't know, 8 to 10 grams per hexie of DK weight yarn. So if you have scraps of DK weight yarn, this is a great scrap project. I love it. The baby shower for the baby that this is going to be for is on June 22nd. So I am going to try to finish it by then. I won't be able to be at that baby shower because I will be at my niece's birthday that day, but I would like to have it done to give to her near then. That's a lot to do still. This is barely halfway. I still have 2 more rings of hexagons, and each ring has 6 more hexagons than the one before. So I still have probably half of a blanket to crochet, but when I work on it, it does go quickly. And if I don't finish it by June 22nd, the baby's not due for a few more months. So I will have some time. But that is going well. It's in my my Clinique bag here. So thank you, Clinique. I do not wear makeup of any sort, but my mother does, and she gave me this Clinique bag, and it's a great project bag for my knitting. Let's see, I'm also working on, I started my V-back tee and fingering weight by Jamie Holbrook. Is that right? Hoffman, by Jamie Hoffman. And I am doing that. So the Arkansas Yarn Crawl is going to be July 19th through 28th, I believe, somewhere in that week. And the Arkansas Yarn Co. is hosting a knit-along of the V-back tee. So, this isn't it. The right project. Here we go. I have started my V-back tee. And the pattern, I have a lot of things to talk about this pattern. So here we are so far. This is the rounded side of the top, right here. And this is the V side of the top. And the top is designed to be worn with, you can do the V in the front and the rounded side as the back, or you can turn it around and do it the other way, where the V is in the back. I am using Hot Springs Fiber Company Seriously Sock yarn in the colorway Fiesta Bread. This was an exclusive Sock Club colorway a while back. And I had 3 hanks of this, and I was hoping to make the whole sweater in this colorway, but I'm afraid I'm not gonna have enough yardage. I really need 4 hanks for my size. So we have revamped it. This pattern is designed to be done in multiple colors. Like you can do all 1 color. There's a 2 color, a 3 color, a 4 color. I think there's even a specified 5 color option. So what I've done is I have added, I'm going to use 2 hanks of this, and I have added 2 more colorways. This is Pumpkin Spice by One Sheep, Two Sheep. And this is a random black sock yarn. I have no idea where it came from or who it's by or what its official colorway is, but it was in my stash. I'm going to add these 2 colors. And so I'm going to do a 3 color version, but I'm going to do it with the 4 color measurements, kind of. So I'll have the speckled Fiesta Bread yarn will be the first 2 stripes, so you won't really see the color change. Then it will change to the Pumpkin Spice, and then that random black yarn is going to be on the bottom. So at least that's my plan. I did knit a gauge swatch, and I know that my swatches are tiny little liars that lie. So I was close to gauge with the recommended needle size. I decided to go down 1 because I know that usually what happens is as I knit, my knitting must relax because all of my sweaters come out to a larger gauge than my swatches indicate, even though I knit big swatches, like 50, 60 stitch, 60 row swatches. Like it's invariably this happens. So I went down a needle size from the recommended needle size, but I stuck with the same size that the pattern kind of indicates would be my size. This is a raglan top. I'm not going to be able to move the sleeves as easily because this is one raglan type where the front and back stitch count are not the same. So I'm just gonna go with it. When I am currently almost done with the upper yoke section, when I finish that section, I will block it and kind of guesstimate where to go from there. I may actually even do the lower yoke section first and then block it. That'll give me a better idea of what gauge I'm actually getting in my sweater. But yeah, I think it's going to fit. I hope it's going to fit well. This is always a concern for me. I very rarely knit anything where I'm like, oh yeah, that's gonna fit fine. I'm always like, hope it turns out okay. And it usually does. Once or twice when it hasn't, I knit a green sweater once that just was enormously too big. I got all the way down to about the waist before I frogged the whole thing and knit a size smaller. And then I wore it twice and my kids felted it, so I don't even have that one anymore. It was an unlucky sweater. I have a yellow sweater that I knit that's just enormous because I knit the wrong size and my gauge loosened up as I went. And I just wear it as like a pullover, you know, with something underneath it now. I still wear it. It's just a big comfy sweater, but it is much bigger than it needs to be. My stripy tee, I can't think of what it's called, that you've seen me knit if you've watched videos before. That one, it fits really well. It is one of the few that I'm very, very happy with the way it fits. I have a red one that is, I can't remember what it's called, y'all. Remembering what patterns are called is apparently not coming to be a thing for me today, but it's a Amy Herzog design that I did with Custom Fit. It fits really well, but it was a custom fit pattern, and even it really needs to be like an inch or two longer than it is, and I don't know if I was just in a hurry or what, but I ended it just a little too soon. So that is my V-back tee. I am hoping to have it done so that I can wear it during the Arkansas Yarn Crawl. I will be spending the whole week of the Arkansas Yarn Crawl in Arkansas in Hot Springs. I should be at Hot Springs Fiber Co., I think, every day. Certainly many of the days, at least. And I'm very excited about that. In fact, I'm going to be visiting Tracie here soon. I'm going to be up there the beginning of June, like the middle of June for a few days, just for a quick visit, because she's my friend and I miss her. And I like to hang out at her shop. So not really doing anything particular that visit. I'm just going up. My kids are going to youth camp, so my husband has to work. I thought, you know what? I'm going to go hang out in Arkansas for a few days. I'm excited about that. I do want to talk about the V-back pattern. So the website's called Knitosophy, Knitosophy, Knitosophy. And I bought the whole spectrum of them. She has a DK weight version, a scrappy version, and the fingering weight version. I think I bought all three, and I'm doing the fingering weight version. And there are some things I love about this pattern. There are some things I don't care for as much as well. So for starters, things that I love: size inclusivity. This sweater has, I think, 19 adult sizes. So odds are something's gonna fit you. That is great, because I'm definitely one of those people where if they don't have extended sizes, I probably won't have a size option that fits well. So I appreciate the size inclusivity. I know that's like a big knit thing people are always interested in. That part she's got down. What I don't care for is that we have made headway in size inclusivity and then backtracked in the readability and functionality of the pattern. The pattern is very long, which by itself is not so bad, but the print is very small, and there's a lot to wade through in terms of your own stitch counts because you're trying to work through 19 sizes. Now, she does a great job of navigating it for you. It is not confusing because of the way she has it set up. It's just a side failure. That's not the word I'm looking for. Casualty of having so many sizes. Like a consequence of that is just that there's just a lot of stuff you have to weed through. Like if I just had my own size, I think this pattern would be like 4 pages. Maybe not even that. But you're having to go through 19 sizes worth of information. So it's just, the readability is a little rough. It's a very small print. It's not helpful on my phone, on my little knit app that I like to use, Row Counter. It's called Row Counter. The pattern is almost useless on Row Counter. It's so small I can't see it. It's not double columned, it's a single column, so the columns are really wide, so it's hard to even zoom in and be able to tell what's going on. But I guess, like I said, how does a designer balance that? I don't know, because I sure appreciate the large number of sizes. Like that needs to be. That is so wonderful as a consumer, but there's some kind of balance with readability would be nice. I heard Knitty Natty's talking about a sweater that she is knitting, and she was saying that the pattern is set up so that there's a lot of sizes and there's like a chart with stitch counts at the bottom, and then in the pattern there's blanks, and you look at the chart and then write in your own number into the actual pattern. And I thought that was a really good idea. So that might be one way that the problem could be solved. I mean, if I had to choose between lots of sizes and really easy to read format, I definitely want the sizes, because like I said, I would be excluded if there were fewer sizes a lot of the time. So I totally get what she's trying to do, but it is like I have to pull out my readers and a magnifying glass to read the pattern. But that's okay. And I do have one more WIP that I've cast on. So it is summer and we spend a lot of time at the pool and the water park with my boys. And while I like water parks, I have done water slides and everything else all my life, I am finding that as I age, I no longer feel the need to do those things. I've done them all. If I went to a new water park that had just a really new experience type thing that I hadn't done before, I'd probably go do it. But at this point, the water park nearby here, I've ridden all the slides multiple times. I no longer feel the need to do all that. I pretty much just spend my time floating around the lazy river or sitting in my lawn chair enjoying the sun. And when I'm sitting in my lawn chair enjoying the sun, I like to knit socks. So I have cast on a pair of hand knit socks. So yes, I have my sock machine still, and yes, I will make socks this summer with that, but I also like to have a pair of hand knit socks every now and then, especially if they're really unique. So you can see right here, this pair is very unique. These are the Bubbles socks by Emma Bermudez, and they are going to be fish. So this is the cuff. This is the part where you put your leg in, and it's like the fish's mouth. And if you can kind of see, there's the fish eye. There's fish eyes on each side. And as you go, I just started the patterned portion. So it was stockinette through the cuff, but now there's like a pattern. You'll go and make the pattern portion, and then you'll finish the sock, and then you go back in and you knit eyes and fins so that it looks like fishies. So this is my Christmas present to myself for 2024's Christmas. My husband actually found these socks. She has several patterns, and they wanted them for Christmas, so I bought yarn to make everybody's for Christmas, and I'm going to make some of the bodies on my sock machine depending on if they are just stockinette or if they have a pattern. But I'm starting with mine so I can see kind of how they're constructed, how the mouths are constructed, and plan out how I want to do the ones that can be done on the machine. They'll be kind of a hybrid. Anyway, so I'm starting with mine, and then I have plans to hopefully finish several of those over the summer before Christmas. That is my poolside knitting for the most part. Oh, and I joined in the Crazy Sock Ladies sock knit along, which I have never done before. I usually do sock week with Nitty Natty and make a pair of hand knit socks over the summer, or a hand knit sock and make the other one later in the summer. But I don't want to dedicate a whole week to a pair of socks right now, or a sock right now. So I decided instead of doing Nitty Natty's sock week, I will join in the Crazy Sock Ladies summer sock camp. And that's the pair I'm going to try to get done. I know some people that get like several pairs done, because that knit along runs from like the end of May till the beginning of August. It's all summer long. But I will be happy if I just get one pair of hand knit socks done this summer. And that is my whips. So that brings me to, my other whip, my ongoing whip, the love of my life, my blanket of knowledge. I am all caught up through May. So I have all 3 of my May blocks for my cabin in the woods done. They all look the same. There's just 3 of them. So that is done, and so I am up to date through May with my cabin in the woods block blanket. And then I'm also done through May with my enchanted strip blanket. I am very pleased with how both of these are turning out. I cannot pick this whole thing up out of this bag. It is heavy and hot. But here is May. You can see April underneath it. And I'll insert a picture of the whole blanket laid out on a table so you guys can see it. But it is coming along very nicely as well. And I'm telling you guys, so I am loving the blanket of knowledge, but I think 1 blanket of knowledge next year will be enough. I don't know that I want to do 2 next year at the same time. It is a lot of knitting, but I am having a hard time deciding if I'm going to do a strip version next year or a block version. I really thought when the strip version came out that would be like my thing and I would never want to do another block one again, but honestly, there's advantages and disadvantages to both construction methods, and it's really hard. I'm having a hard time deciding what I want to do. So blocks have to be seamed at the end, and that is by and large the thing I dislike about it the most, because seaming is tedious and not my favorite thing to do, but I can do it. I know how to do it, so it's not impossible. The strips, that's the advantage. No seaming, like you just knit in a big strip as you go. But there are some things I like about the blocks. For example, if you wait to seam your blocks till the end, you can take all of your blocks and all of the different colors, all of the different patterns, and be very fun and artistically visual with it and where you place everything. But the strips, you've got to strip, 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 strip. There's no breaking anything up, no moving things around. No, it's limited to being in strips. Everything in this strip is the same all the way across. So also I've noticed that, my blocks are infinitely portable. I can take blocks with me wherever I go and I can knit them, no problem. They are not hot when it starts to get hot outside. Working on that bad boy right now in East Texas in May it's not fun, y'all. It's hot. Like that blanket reaches from my toes to my chest and it sits on me. It's heavy. It's hard on my hands at this point. I found myself trying to knit at a table so I can put the blanket on a table, which one, keeps it off of me, and two, helps it not pull so hard. Whew, sorry, I'll get a little sweaty. A little worked up about my strips versus blocks. So anyways, I'm really not sure next year if I'm going to want to do my 4th blanket of knowledge in strips or in blocks. That's really hard. Also, the other thing about blocks is if you wanted to do both knit and crochet blocks, you could, which I'm really thinking about for next year, maybe trying. I don't know how brave I am. Right now I still get, bugs. I still get frustrated with my crochet. I still don't really know what I'm doing very well. So that might be putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. But that is my blanket of knowledge. It is going well. I'm excited to see what June will be like, which should be coming in a couple of more weeks. If you are interested in joining the Blanket of Knowledge, please use my affiliate link down below and sign up. In fact, if you do any shopping at Hot Springs Fiber Company, please use my affiliate link down below. It helps me out. It does not cost you any more, and I greatly appreciate it. So that takes care of that. Let's see, acquisitions. I, of course, just got back from the Yellow Rose Fiber Fiesta last month, so I don't have a whole lot of acquisitions. I did buy another hank of the Hot Springs Fiber Company Magic Merino DK weight for my crochet blanket because it is a baby blanket gift now. I needed to have a little more yarn than I had in scraps, so I bought a ball. Actually, I think I bought 2 balls for that. So there's that. And then I found this shawl that I wanted to knit at the Fiber Fiesta. I wanted to crochet. And so I bought the book where the pattern is. So this is Rustic Modern Crochet, 18 Designs Inspired by Nature by Yumiko Alexander. Now I have a shawl that I've knit of hers called Ribbon Weave. And I love that pattern, I love that shawl. So I'm excited about this book. I'm going to find a picture of the shawl that I want to knit. Here we go. So this is the one I want to knit. No, I want to crochet it. I'm sorry, y'all. It's like a whole nother language. This is the shawl I want to crochet. I don't have any immediate plans to do it right away, but I at least have the pattern, so when I get ready, I can. And then we had Mother's Day, and so my boys ordered me this adorable birdhouse that is yarn balls and I guess a spool of thread. They ordered me a birdhouse, which was adorable. I have it hanging in my house up in a window. And I have a little sheep that I stick in the birdhouse hole because I don't have a bird, but I have a sheep. So that was sweet. And then I guess in order to prevent me from feeling left out, my husband and sons also gave me this for Mother's Day. Everywhere I go, this is a conversation starter for sure. Not only did they provide me with a ball sack in the form of a drawstring backpack, but they also gave me a tote bag. So these, I guess they figured I have a husband and 4 sons and sometimes a bonus son. And I guess they thought I was feeling left out. So now I also have a ball sack. I have 2, in fact. And these came from Big Frog of Frisco. My husband has a dear friend from high school, my friend too, but his name is Chris Mock. If you need a ball sack, you should definitely call up Big Frog of Frisco and speak to Chris Mock and tell them that you need a ball sack. He will know what you were talking about. So there's that. And because my husband and my sons love you guys so much, they have given me an extra one to give away. So we'll talk about that some more in a minute. But those are my acquisitions. And then I have, of course, some things to give you guys, some shareables. So my first shareable, this is what we have from last month. There is the Yellow Rose Fiber Fiesta bag. And I bought at the Fiesta 3 hanks of Fiber Fanatic 100% wool hand-dyed yarn. And there is a lot. There's at least 4 ounces. I think this one's more like 5 or 6 ounces. There's extra. So there's plenty. It's a worsted weight, but there's plenty of yarn here to make a fun 3-color shawl. It also comes with the bag. And the winner of this from last month, from May, is Antonia Casada 4701. So congratulations, Antonia Casada 4701. You will need to email me at the email in the description box below so that your shareable can get headed over to you. And that brings us to the shareable for this month. So, of course, you will be commenting below in order to enter to win the June shareable. This is our anniversary shareable, so we have your very own ball sack from courtesy of, let's see, Big Frog of Frisco. He did actually give this to you guys, so. And then I have a little baggie of goodies. There is a couple of stitch markers, a pen, some needle cappers. This is like a purse hook where you can hang your project bag off the side. There's a shawl pin, so a little goodie bag. And then there are 3 hanks of this Expression Fiber Arts pearlescent fingering yarn, which is a 50% superwash merino, 50% mulberry silk on in a colorway hydrangea. So there's 3 of these. These were actually donated by my mother as a birthday present for you guys. And if you would like to give these things a home, then you will need to comment down below. You could just wish me happy birthday. Wish the channel happy birthday. Say what you like about the channel, or something you would like to see, or something I could do better, or something you enjoy. Let me know something about the channel in the comments down below, and I will enter you to win that. And we will announce the winner on June 21st. So you will need to comment before June 20th. That's a little sooner than I've been doing. We won't be announcing the winner in the July episode. I'm going to be announcing it in the birthday episode of my podcast, which will be going out on the 21st. So you'll want to comment before like the 19th, because I'll probably film it on the 20th and get it posted on the 21st. So that's how you will be reading that. That Expression Fiber Arts yarn is wonderful, lovely, silk and wool, and gorgeous. And I hope you win it. Let's see, the rules about entering to win, the limitations, and all that kind of stuff are in the description box down below. So check that out if you want to know how to do that. Plans and purposes. So I am doing pretty well with my little book of plans. I have got a lot accomplished, but I have a lot still to go. For June, the things I plan to either start or finish in June, this month, I need to finish the Healer Puppy Beanie by Jennifer Brochert. That's a crochet pattern that I need to get done for my niece's birthday. I finished the bluey, y'all saw that last month, but I haven't yet begun the bingo version. So I'm gonna get that started. Of course, I'll need to do my June blocks and strips for Blanket of Knowledge once I get that yarn. I'm gonna try to finish that Hexie blanket this month. We'll see. But those are my plans for June. I probably won't start anything new in June unless I pull out my sock machine. I do have some things to do with my sock machine this summer, either in June or maybe July. I have those animal socks. So I've got mine, which is Bubbles. And then I'm also going to be making a crikey that's a Beetlejuice version, Socks the Platypus, and the double mitt twist mitts, which are not socks, but mitts for one of my sons who wants mitts and not socks. So those are all sock machine-esque related plans. Hopefully they will get done, if not in June, then July. We're still homeschooling for 1 more week, but I should have a little more time once we wrap that up for the summer. And then I also have, one of my pastors is going to have another baby. Well, his wife is going to have the baby. He's not going to have the baby. But I have made blankets for their 2 previous children, and so I will be starting probably in June. As soon as I finish the Hexie blanket, I'll be starting a Tree of Life blanket. It's actually called the Banyan Love Blanket from Designs by Muggins. That's what I'm going to be starting for their baby. And that's kind of my plans for June. This method of keeping just a hard copy of plans with deadlines and start dates has been really helpful. I pull things off my Ravelry queue, write them down in here based on when they need to be finished. And then if I finish stuff and have time to cast on something else, I pull that off my queue and cast it on. I will be doing a This Away knit shawl for the DFW Fiber Fest in the fall, but I'll talk more about that in July. I'm not planning to start that this month. I think that's it. I think that's all my plans. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. We've been chit-chatting for like 40 minutes now. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me talk. But I sure appreciate you so much. I'm going to close this in prayer, and I will see you guys on June 21st for a birthday bonus-ode and the announcement of the shareable winner for this month. Heavenly Father, you are our awesome God. Thank you so much, Lord, for the blessings that you have showered on all of us for this beautiful day. Lord, thank you for keeping us safe in the weather that we've had in East Texas lately with the storms and the rain, Lord, and thank you for providing for those who have been without power and meeting their needs. And we are so very grateful, Lord, for all of the ways that you take care of us every day, especially, Lord, for the provision of your Son, Jesus, who died on the cross so that our sinfulness can be restored and redeemed and that we can be made right with you. And in your Son, Jesus' most precious name, I pray. Amen.